Washington, D.C. Yes, my people. This my trip took me like 2.5 hours, about 3 hours to get to Washington. I just let me vlog a little bit of the city, not a little bit of the city for my people, for my farm. I went to get my passport, not my passport, my baby's passport anyway. Yeah, from the embassy, from Nigeria embassy. So I just say, I look at the city. I say, this city is one of the ancient cities in this country, in America. So let me blog it a little bit so that people when they hear, but Washington, D.C., where they never come Washington, D.C. Trust me, we have Nigerians, Africans in this US that have not been to Washington, D.C. It's just like you are a country, you have not been to other states. Even the Americans in America, some of them, a lot of them, have not been, millions of them have not been to Washington, D.C. Washington, D.C., you get history, has a lot of history. Washington, D.C. is a district of Columbia. That's what they call them. They call it a District of Columbia. And it's not a state, it is the capital city and the federal district of the United States. It is not a state, but it's the capital city and the federal district of the United States. This city, Washington, D.C., is on the Potomac River. It is on top of the Potomac River. That's the way they describe it. That is on top of the Potomac River. Across from this, Washington, D.C. is surrounded by three states. You have Maryland on one side, you have Virginia on one side, then you have Delaware State in one side. So you have three states, and other states too that are surrounded, or I would say connect to Washington, D.C. This state has a lot of history. This city, I'm saying state. Washington, D.C. is not a state. There's a Washington state and there's Washington, D.C. The Washington, D.C. is the federal capital. So this Washington, D.C. has a lot of history. And this city was named after the first president of the United States. His name is actually George Washington. Honestly, I have been to his house in Virginia. I went to over there when I took one of my kids to. It's like they go there and they take the children there, like what do I call it now? Like a field trip. Yeah, you go there, they show you the first plate the man ate with, his bed, everything 300 or something years ago is still intact. It's still there. The bed's neat, everything, the chairs, everything is still there, but everything just small, small. If you see them, everything just small, small is different from what we are used to now. Yeah, even the chairs, everything just small, small, everything is clean. And people go there, it's like a museum, and people go there now, for tourists travel all over the world to go over to George Washington's house. So back to Washington, D.C. So the city was named after the first president of the United States, which is George Washington. The district is named after Columbia. It's a female, the female personification of the nation. So that Columbia, George Washington, the District of Columbia, that Colombian a woman name is a female name. This place gets history sharp because when you come here and they tell you their history, you could just say, oh my goodness. After the Constitution, they did a lot of, I'm not telling you America history, I'm just trying to run around the city of Columbia, Washington, D.C. I mean, the District of Columbia, Washington, D.C. The city, this Washington, D.C. was founded in 1791. I think so, yeah. 1791. That's the district was founded in 1791 and they call it the Sixth Congress. So this place has a lot of history. I'm telling you, a lot of history. On its own, a lot of decisions, both good, bad, ugly, and name it, has been made in this city of Columbia, the District of Columbia, Washington, D.C. So this city, if you actually look at it, like I said, it was founded in 1791. 1791 is when they found the District of Columbia, which they said this city, District of Columbia, was formerly part of Maryland and Virginia. Just like say they cut them out from two states, and they then made it this city capital. Yeah, the country capital. Say the city, yeah, the country capital. So it was already in existence before they took part of Georgetown and Alexandria, which they formerly called the Federal District or the Federal Capital of the United States. So this city sits all the um, federal, what I will call them now, federal employee, the House of Rep, the presidency, the House of Senate, even the Pentagon, everything is located in this Washington, DC. This is a very, very, it has a lot of history. Even the infrastructures of this city are very old. You can just look at it and say, oh, is this America? Yes, it is America. Washington, DC is a very old um, city. It's a very old um, yeah, city. So the city was built by a lot of our forefathers when they carry come here, especially majority of those federal capital offices, even the White House was built by our forefathers when they carry come this city of District of Columbia. So like I said, this District of Columbia hold a lot of history, holds a lot of pain, a lot of tears, a lot of good decisions and a lot of bad decisions, or decisions that were not too good, let me put it that way, and decisions that were perfect, that were good for the people of the world, that was good for the people of the nation. So Washington DC carry a lot of history, a lot of tears, a lot of blood, a lot of pain, a lot of memories. People still they go through. You go find out say our people where come from this place, where still they here. Some of them still no get bearings. They still they go through a lot of mental health issue, you know. So this city carries a lot of pain. On this day, like I said, I was going to Nigeria embassy, because when you come here, it's all the nation embassy. Or before you go, I mean, there's no nation embassy when we did this Washington, except America don't agree with that nation. That means the nation will not have embassy in this Washington DC. One thing I forgot to mention when I started is that this Washington DC was designed before it was built, before it was being built. It was designed by a man called, was designed in 1791 by a man called Pierre Charles. His name was called Pierre Charles. This city is divided into quadrants, which, is centered around the capital, which has about 131 neighborhood. And as of 2020 census, the city had a population of 689,545. You find out that, yes, you go say, Washington DC that is so big, why does it have not even up to a million population? Yes, because, like I said, when they cut out the District of Columbia, they took part of Maryland, the state of Maryland, and they took part of the state of Virginia. So it's just in the center of these two beautiful states. So we can call it the suburb of Virginia. And you see over a million people are there during the daytime, because people come here to work. Just like people travel from the mainland to the island in Lagos, people travel from Songwater, so that is how you have it. You see people travel from Maryland, from Virginia, from Delaware, even from where I live, which is about almost 3 hours to Washington. People carpool and travel to Washington for work, So that is why you find out that there's a lot of traffic. When I mean traffic, now they say Lagos get traffic. One of the reasons that Lagos traffic is uncontrolled is because there's no law there. Over here, there's a lot of traffic. People get up to go to work in this city or travel to Washington, D.C. from 5 a.m. in the morning. A journey that would normally take you, maybe you're coming from the Baltimore area, maybe the journey that would take you about 30 minutes to 45 minutes, you can spend up to 2 hours or an hour on the road just because of the traffic. But the traffic moves, but yeah, that's this city here, it get a lot of history, a lot of history. Some are not so good, some are so beautiful. So in 2023, the funniest part of this whole population issue is that in 2023, because of the commuters that travel from Maryland and Virginia suburbs, the way, because of work, which maybe is more than 1 million during the daytime, and during the country's seventh population, whatever, the population rose to 6.3 million. You can imagine with that is the 2023 population. It was 6.3 million residents that resides in the Washington area. Wow. So if we kind of look at how the history of Washington, the history is a little deep, and like I said, the area is where the Washington is located is called the Potomac River. It's called the Potomac River. Those were the people that lived there, the inhabitants that lived in that land. They lived around the Potomac River, which is the present day Washington, D.C. So they say the Europeans first arrived and colonized that region in the 17th century. So they called that area because they were all Catholic missionaries that came to that area. So they maintained their settlement around the river in that area. So in that area, you have a lot of river, water, or this, what do they call them, Virginia Beach, this sea, Atlantic Ocean and all that. We have it in that, it's between Maryland, Virginia, Washington, D.C. area. So there's plenty of water in that river in that area. So there was a particular river that drew the attention of the Catholic missionaries that came to that area at that time, and they settled in that district, which is today the place was called, around the time they settled there, when the missionaries settled in this Washington area, it was called the Anacostia River. They settled around the Anacostia River, which is present day Washington, D.C. Conflicts with European colonists and the neighboring tribes, of course, they did have a lot of war because the Indians are the original owners of this nation, of this country. They had a lot of wars. Another story. I just make a vlog. Let me vlog, as I'm going, let me just vlog this city. So you always see that Washington, D.C. is not built with gold. Because some people, when they say Washington, D.C., there are some parts of Washington that is so beautiful. It's just the side that I drove through, kind of cut the major parts out because we didn't take that area. So our GPS took us through this side because of the what do they call them? Traffic. I actually schooled in Washington. I went to school in Washington, so I know the traffic, how the traffic will be in Washington, D.C. So yeah. So in that area, but it's a lot of offices. A lot of people don't live in Washington. So people where they live for Washington are a lot black people, our people they live for Washington. When I mean our people who get the color black people like us, Americans, black Americans, they live here in Washington. A lot of them live in Washington. It's not that you know go find Caucasians or you people where they live for Washington, they, but the original people were come settle for Washington. The reason be that when they bring them to come work, when our people betray them, sell them to all these Oyibo people, make they come here, they work for their cotton farms and all that. So when they bring them, a lot of this neighboring, like the West Virginia, that is part of this Washington, and Virginia and Maryland, they had a lot of cotton farm. Even the George Washington house that I said I went to in Virginia, you know, you still get the farm still today. Even where they bury him, they there, where they bury him by his side of his wife, you know, is there. I saw it. And there was a particular man where be black, you know, Slave, where they bury around that area. That won't get a lot of history. The reason why they bury the person near him, that won't get a lot of history. So the reason why black people come, like say black people plenty for Washington, be say, because then they bring come there come walk. You know, now they build the what do you call them? The railway train, the train stations, those buildings, those big buildings, those I will vlog that you can't see from this side because we didn't go through that area, like I said, because of traffic. Yeah, because the federal capital, the House of Senate, the Pentagon, and all those places, you go find out in the people where they bring the black people now they you know and they be the laborers where they use to take construct, build, do the dirty work, the underground work, the railway and all those things, the road, you know, now they build those things. So that is the reason why you come be like say, I find out say a lot of our people then did this place, they did Washington DC. Yeah, because they were the labor where they provide labor, so they can't stay that city, they can't stay there. Their forefathers can't stay there. So till today, that's why you can say that a lot of black people are in Washington DC. A lot of black people. Another thing that I want to quickly throw in here, during this time, you know, where I say they get Glasgow, the war and all that, their history talks say that in 1814, you see that White House was rebuilt because during the War of 1812, that was the war between the British Army and the Americans. You know, the British, I remember saying that they come here, the Protestants, they all come here because they know they sit there under the British rule, just as the British rule Nigeria and so British rule America. So the American one now won't come break away from the British people. So in 1812, the White House, which was like the White House, the president, so they had a war, there was war. At that period, then they take burn down that White House, so but it was rebuilt. That war was called the Battle of the Bladensburg in 1814. The British Army burned the White House and other buildings during a one-day occupation of Washington DC. They occupied Washington DC because they wanted to take over. They wanted the Queen to continue to rule from British, and these people say they no agree. They no want the other anymore. Go your own, I go my own. The matter not too much now. Day your day, I day my day. I want room on I want rule ourselves. You rule yourself. You know, the Queen get power at the time. Oh, the Queen of British, I think, who was that? Was it Margaret? I don't even remember. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know that the name of that queen that time, but she was powerful. In fact, that British colony with when they cover a lot of places up to Canada, you know, cover a lot of places up to Canada. The Canada, I think was part of the United States. I need to find that. I think was part of the United States. So because the British now, because British also ruled over the Canada, so they had to cut that country out. When they cross to Canada from New York, from Buffalo, it don't be like America join Canada for that side. It be like Songwater and Lagos and like Agege that area. So it joined together. So that's how it is. when the after the battle, I think the Canada was cut off by the British. They separate. The British set fire to government buildings in the city, cutting the United States Capitol. You know, the Treasury Building and the White House. Which all of them just burned down. All these things happen within 24 hours. You know, most government buildings were repaired quickly, but the Capitol, which was largely under construction at the time, would not be completed in the current form until 1868. That is why you see saying the people, the our people where they carry come here, them from home, from different part of Africa, where they bring come in and they can suffer, come build that District of Columbia. Because in 1830s, the district southern territory of the Alexandria declined economically due in the part to its neglect by Congress. Alexandria was a major market in the domestic slave trade, and pro-slave residents feared the Congress, the abolition in Congress would end slavery in the district. Alexandra's citizens petitioned Virginia to retake the land it had donated to form the district, a process known as retrocession. You know, it's a like I said, it's a lot of history. You know, during that period, safe, you get when they want people call it say, may they let these people go. Just be like for Bible when Pharaoh, God was saying, let my people go because the Israelites were slaves to Pharaoh in the land of Egypt. So at the time, it was as like they won't abolish that business. Some people fought against it seriously. That one is a story for another day. Some people actually fought seriously against it because they wanted to own our people where they carry come here because they own them like property. You know, like say as they buy clothes that time, so they say they buy them that time. So some people won't let that go, they won't free them. So some of them say no. Whether they want the power to they control human being, they tell you say sit stand. In fact, when I went to that the first president of the United States, George Washington House, if you see where they keep those people, my people, if you see where they keep them, they say that they reach like 50 or 30. If you see the small room where they say that they sleep, even if they say make they lie down for ground. When I go there, I was crying. No, I don't lie to now. I was crying. Maybe one of my ancestors did, and I make her cry. I was crying because if you see where those people they sleep, if you see, no, the place is clean, oh, you go find out say it's either they were sleeping on top of each other, or some of them sleep outside, or some of them they stand. Even if they stand, their head, they go bend, they go get to bend. I don't think God know how they do them. Only God. Ah, those people they suffer. Oh. I don't know, I don't see them, sha. But when you go to these places and they begin to tell you the history, my dear, no matter how you go say your heart strong, you go cry. Because you see as I they cry that day, I just they cry like saying a person die. I was crying so hard. I could imagine say I they see them. It could be like say I they see them. Say they did there, they see them, they go through how they take they tie them, they beat them, they work for the farm. Ah, when they tell you all those stories, you could say, oh my God, now what here our people go through for this land be that? Eh? Now what did they go through for this land be this? So, you know, it's a lot of history. It's a lot of history. This Washington, Virginia, Maryland, it's a lot of history. Now, it make the people were first of all freed slavery for this country, now this part of the country, this Maryland, Washington, and all this. Now, they first of all, freedom. You see, that side, the southern states, they know quick freedom. Yes, because that's what led to the outbreak civil war in 1861 because they were asking for some people made they free them. Some stayed free, some no agree, some want me they continue with the business. My people, make I stop here. One day, we go talk this story, because I know say when they want talk this story, you know the end though. The story is very long. It's very, very long. We've already talk the story half. I just they talk half and half. I will just tell now a little bit of Washington DC. When I go to go collect passport for my last baby, and I just vlogged. So let me vlog Washington DC for my people. Let them see what Washington DC, not those my people where they America, or not those people where they travel come for vacation for Washington. For those of my farms that are outside of the US, some of them are in Europe, some are in Asia countries, some are in Africa, just all around the world. Because when I look at my whatever is called, and I see every country that people follow me from Ghana, from Cameroon, from Liberia, from every part of Africa continent, from Germany, from Austria, from London, from different parts, from Canada, US here, yes. Yeah, I have fans all over the world. So my people, I appreciate you all. Don't worry, one day we will settle down to talk mainly. Maybe then when I go to Washington, because I go to Washington a lot. Like I say, I schooled in Washington, so I go to Washington a lot. And I would I will vlog. When I'm vlogging it, then I will talk. This is just a voiceover. So when I vlog, like when I go to all those museums, I went to all the museums. There's one thing about Washington that I went. What year was that? Or when I follow one of my kids to the museum, I went to, I think, the science museum. We went to the science museum. You will see all the there. You go see where as the population they count. Person they die, they as they reduce, as they born picking, as the thing they count, they add. I mean, this is it's so fat. It's so it's so nice. It's so nice. Let me put it that way. One of these days, when I go back to Washington again, like I say, I travel there a lot. I go there for my grocery shopping. And when I want buy food in bulk, farmers market, I they go there. Where so I'll vlog I'll take my time to really vlog that place, because a lot of history in Washington DC. It carries a lot of history that even whether you the America, the America, you need to know. It's very important. So my people, share this video. My name is Patience, and this is Patience Vlogs. Enjoy these vlogs that I just did on Washington DC. God bless you all. Please share and subscribe. Follow me if you have not. God bless you. Bye-bye.